Hi, as you can see, there is a mic on me, and hopefully I'll figure out the placement of it and stuff later. I'm just not exactly sure how we're gonna, but today we're gonna be doing a book haul, so. Sorry, I can't I just keep sipping. So all of these books I either got when I was shopping at Indigo or I got them on Amazon. There's only one book on here that I got on Book Depository. The rest of those books that were like purchased from there, those are going to be in a separate haul. I do have more books coming, but I think what I'll do is I'll just show them in a vlog or something. But I didn't want this to be held out any longer. Not my usual here's 40 gajillion books. This is like books I've picked up here and there, ones that I kind of want to show you guys. So I'll go through them, talk about them a little bit, give a little tiny synopsis. I have some series, I have some standalones, I have one nonfiction book, which is really exciting. So we're doing some damage. So I'll try and link everything down below too if I can, or list it at least so you can find it. We're gonna get started, and you can clearly see that I put the pile really close to my camera, so that's great. But the first book is from Book Depository, and you just saw the cover and you're like, yeah, you bought this book, did you? I bought the Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas. This book I have been waiting for the longest time. I had been wanting it for the longest time, and I finally got it. So it's not coming out in Canada till end of this month, I think, and I couldn't wait, so I just bought it. So I have it now, which is very exciting. So this is I think this is like a workplace enemies to lovers romance story. First of all, it's a little bit chunkier, which is kind of nice. I like that it's a little bit chunkier, honestly. It gives me a little more meat to read. So this book is about a woman named Catalina. So this book is about Catalina. She has to go to a wedding, and she's really insecure about the fact that she doesn't have a +1 kind of thing. And I think her family is like, why don't you have a husband, or why don't you have a lover or something along those lines. And she is struggling to find somebody that will actually go with her, asking one of her co-workers, and he agrees, and they go to Spain. So they travel to Spain, I think, from New York City, and it all kind of romances from there. So this will be interesting. I love me a good romance, especially when I need a palate cleanser. So typically what I do is, for romances, rom-coms, all that kind of stuff, I like to keep those for times when I've read so many heavy books that I just need something lighthearted. I go to my romance shelf and I just go this one, or I go that one, or I go this one, and I read that one in a day, and then I'm good to go. So I'm excited about this. This might take me a little bit longer though, but I can't wait to. So that's the first one. And then the next one is a self-published novel that actually got a lot of traction on TikTok. And I am probably also going to buy the version that is coming out. I believe it was Tor Book picked it up, and I got the self-published version on Amazon because I really like the cover of this one, but I'll probably still get the one that is going to be traditionally published. So, but this is the Atlas 6 by Olivie Blake, and this one is about secret society. It's like a dark academia. I believe this is about godhood, so it's sort of Middle Game, but hopefully a little more interesting. No shade to Middle Game, it's just that I don't know. I gave it 3.25 stars, so take with that what you will. Disappointed in it, but anyways, that's just me. But I'm really excited about this one. It's about secret societies. Like I said, it's about, I guess, 6 or 7 people that are trying to vie for godhood, and it becomes a thing. And now they have to, I guess, compete with each other, and it's just a whole thing, and we are excited for it. I love high stakes. I hope that I'm actually attached to these characters. I hope that I don't feel so far removed from them. It happens, but this cover is gorgeous. I'm really excited to read this. Not sure when I'll read it, but hopefully sooner rather than later, just because I have so many buddy reads next month. Like, there's so many freaking buddy reads that I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to be filming a video where I talk to you guys about all the buddy reads that I'm doing. I also got this one too. This is a Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This one is a retelling or reimagining of Dracula's Brides. So I haven't read the original source material, but I have read this book, and this book I gave 4.25 stars. I actually really enjoyed it, save for the ending. I wasn't really a huge fan of the ending, and I felt like it was a little bit rushed, but that's just me. But anyways, this is about our protagonist Constanta, and she lives a generally normal life in medieval England. So she's just a peasant's daughter. She's kind of just, you know, living very modestly, all that kind of stuff. And then Dracula comes along. He's never explicitly named. It's him who is Dracula. And like I said, Dracula isn't explicitly named throughout the story. And even in the original source material, he's not named explicitly throughout the story. But this one is basically he like takes her as like one of his brides, and then it just becomes this very abusive, manipulative relationship, and it kind of chronicles her time. And this spans a very large space of time, by the way, I believe about 500-600 years, and it is very well written. I thought that this was fantastic. I loved the writing style. I really connected with all of the characters in the story, and I just really liked it. And I think that if you want a beautifully written book that's very impactful, buy this. You'll love it. I promise. It's so good. So got that one. And then the next book that I got is a nonfiction. This one I think I heard like a few places, and I love reading about cults. I don't know if you know this, but I love reading about cults and true crime and all that kind of stuff. I've read The Stranger Beside Me. I've read The Phantom Prince. I've read like Bad Feminist, Knock on the Door. Just like I'm going through all of the nonfiction that I have. I don't have a large collection of nonfiction, but I've read enough of it to kind of like get an idea of what I like. But this one I'm really excited about. This is Sex Cult Nun by Faith Jones. This is her first-hand experience growing up in a cult. And I believe this cult is called Children of God. It is a radical religious cult, and she talks about the doctrine of cults and how you get sucked into them. It sort of manifests itself into something that is way more sinister. So she kind of talks about how it's affected her, how her family got into it, and just all of these things that cults and cult leaders do to manipulate you and keep you with them, if you know what I mean. So I am excited to read this. Not sure when I'll read it, but I have it, and I can't wait to dive into it when. Assuming it'll be sooner rather than later, though, because I love reading about this stuff, and I can't wait. So I got that one. And the next book is another book that I've already read, and that is The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi. And this one is the first book in a series. This one, I think I gave this one like 3.5, I think it was. I'm not exactly sure how much I gave it, because I know I changed my rating a couple of times with this one. But this one is set in Paris in 1889, and you have this kind of like this sort of found family, multiple points of views. So you have Leila, you have Sophia, you have Severin, you have Enrique, and you also have, I think it was Tristan. Was it Tristan? I think it was Tristan. Yeah, you have Tristan too. Then you also have another character named Hypnos. So essentially there's this artifact that needs to be collected. And Hypnos comes to these mobsters, these teenage mobsters, by the way, in Paris to help him retrieve this artifact. And it's a very interesting story. I was kind of like iffy about it. I'm still a little iffy on it. There are some really great lines and really great scenes in here. And as you can see, I did tab it a lot, but I will say that if you like YA historical fantasy, or if you're a teacher who teaches high school, this might be a really good book to add to your bookshelf or to your lessons or something. Because I think it's a really interesting writing style. It's very fantastical. I personally, like for me at least, in my humble opinion, I connect more with more poetic lyrical style, so something like S.T. Gibson or Erin Morgenstern are like my preferred ones if I'm reading something that is historical or supposed to be a little bit more magical. This one I was a little bit like about, but it's not a bad book by any means, but I don't be continuing the series in my opinion. That's just me. But this was a book club pick for one of my many buddy reads that I coerced myself into doing, so there's that. I read that one already. And then the next book that I have, okay, so I didn't need this book. This book needed me, but I didn't need this because I already have an edition of this, but I was looking for an edition of this book that was in modern English. Now, if you don't know me, I love medieval literature. I think medieval literature is the best. I love medieval literature. Sorry, one sec. I love medieval literature. And I love old English tales. Found the mother of all English tales in this beautiful edition when I was at Indigo, by chance, by the way. This is a very niche audience, so not everyone's going to be like, oh my god, that's amazing. Because some of you are going to be like, oh, why did you buy this? But I will explain later. But this is Le Morte by Sir Thomas Mallory. This book is the story of King Arthur and his quest for the Holy Grail, knighthood, kinghood, royalty, and just overall godhood, essentially. But this is just about his journey and his quest to get swords the swords that he needs. Quest. It's an epic fantasy. It's fictional. It's biblical. And if you like that kind of literature, this particular edition, I believe is I just saw it and I thought it was really cute, but it is published by, this is the Canterbury Classics edition. And I think it's like a special edition, but it is so good, so good. And it has like gold edges on it, which is beautiful, and it kind of just looks like your leather-bound book, like the classic leather-bound book. And this story is it's very biblical, like I said, very impactful. It's a great story, by the way. It's a really long story. I myself haven't finished reading it. And also, can we take a look at these end papers for a sec? These are beautiful, beautiful. And I love this kind of stuff. Like, this stuff is just like my jam and I freaking love it. So I was really excited to snag my little hands on this wonderful, beautiful edition. So yeah, I'm really, really happy that I got that one. And speaking of classical literature, I got another piece of classical literature right here. So right now, one second, I'm gonna take another sip. Right now, I'm reading Jane Eyre by Charlotte Brontë. And every now and again, I like to go into classical literature. Classic literature has a very special place in my heart because I read a lot of it when I was in university. I read a lot of it when I was in high school. And I have multiple editions of Shakespeare. I have a lot of short stories written by a lot of different American authors and authors from around the world, all that kind of stuff. It's just like my favorite thing ever. But I was in the mood to purchase this one, and now we are here, and it's a wonderful floppy paperback. But this is Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë. So this is Charlotte Bronte's sister. Yes, there are sisters. This one is also very, very famous. I believe it is, I know it is. It's referenced in Twilight quite a bit too. Well, this is about, hi, so I'm in the middle of editing this video, and so the last part of this haul got mysteriously deleted. So I'm gonna quickly go through all the other books that I need to haul because I need to get this video up. I have like a few more books that I just need to get through for this haul, so I will quickly go through those right now for you. But I think I was talking about Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë. And this one is about a man that gets caught in a snowstorm. And essentially what happens is he meets this woman and there's a lot of intense passion, there's intense love, there's a little bit of like a dark and twisted kind of vibe to this as well because it is a gothic horror novel. So I am really excited to read it. I'm not sure when I'll read it, but I do have a very beautiful copy of this and I'm so stoked to be able to have the opportunity to read this. So I have this one, and then I think the rest of the books that I have are not classics at all. I think I got through all the classics that I purchased. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this before I show you the cover of it. I didn't realize that the hardcover of this book was on clearance. So I went into Indigo and I was walking around, you know, whatever, and I was just, you know, picking up some books, and I picked up this book in paperback because it was the first one that I saw, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna grab this because I need it. And I was walking around. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to go to the back section of Indigo where they have all their clearance stuff, and also sometimes they have like some really cool editions of classics that are like super inexpensive. So I went there and I was cruising around, and then I saw this book in hardcover and I freaked out because I found this book in hardcover, but also it only cost me like $7, and that is Bunny by Mona Awad. This book is supposed to be really weird. Now this is another buddy read that I'm doing, but I'm gonna be reading it this month. But essentially this is a academia horror kind of. This book is about a girl named Samantha, and she goes to a very prestigious university, and she ends up in this, I don't want to say it's a cult because I don't think it's a cult, but she ends up in a group of, like, I guess a sorority, and they call themselves the Bunnies, and they just do a lot of weird things. I'm not sure exactly what the plot is, but I'm really excited that I got this in hardcover and that I got this for $7. So we're here for it. I am so excited. So I got this one, and I love the cover. I love the colors. I think it's going to be a really interesting read. I know that it's apparently not for everybody, but like I've said multiple times, I like books that other people don't like for whatever reason. I don't know what it is with me. But anyways, got that one. And then the next book that I have, okay, so these next two books were part of a package that so long to get here. Finally got here though, and I was really happy about it because I really needed these books. And they were stuck in BC for 3 weeks. Got here yesterday. So first book is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is her first like adult novel, I think it is, and it's a dark academia about a girl who I guess is hospitalized. She's offered like this full ride scholarship to Yale because she has these like magical abilities or something, and I have heard a lot of really mixed things about it, which basically means that I'll love it. And I love this cover. I think this cover is absolutely stunning. I think that this book will be really good. I'm not sure when I'll read it. I'll read it sometime this year, but also can we take a look at the paper for a sec? Stunning, gorgeous, beautiful. And I just love me a nice hardback. I think this hardback is beautiful and I can't wait to read it. So there's that one. And then the next book that I have is the next book in a duology. This is Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. I know that she's coming out with another book this year. I think it's called Gallant or something, which is going to be really exciting. But anyways, this is the second book in a dark academia. And I don't know too much about this book. What I do know is that people like the first book, but they don't like the second book, and I just want to see how I feel. I haven't started the duology yet, but I have everything in that duology, so we are super stoked. And I love the floppiness of this paperback. I think it's great. It's not like super floppy, but it's floppy enough that you can, you know, read it comfortably, and that's all that matters, right? Is that you have a paperback that is floppy but nice. So the next couple books that I have, these ones are part of a series. The next book is a series, and then the next one is a start of a series. So the rest of this, so this shouldn't take me too long to get through. I have Kingdom of Copper and The Empire of Gold by S.A. Charkaborty. And this is a fantasy set in Cairo, Egypt, I believe. And I don't know very much about the plot, but what I do know is that it's supposed to be really good. And I got the last 2 books of it, so now I can start it whenever I feel like it. And also, can we take a moment to appreciate how floppy these paperbacks are? They're extremely floppy, and I'm here for it. And I think these covers are also really pretty. I know that people really like the UK covers, but this US cover, like this US Canadian cover, especially on this one, beautiful, beautiful. I got those. And then the last couple books that I have, these 3 are part of the same series. This is a fantasy romance, and I just like, I think I heard it from one person, and then I don't know what it is with me, but I just did that to myself. And this is the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. So there's 3 books here, this trilogy so far. I think there's going to be another one coming out, but this is Bolt. Then we have Lint and Gleam. So what I've heard is that it gets better as you go. So this one isn't as good as this one, but this one isn't as good as this one. So we'll see how I feel about these, but this is a retelling of the King Midas, and I believe it's Norse mythology, but I need to double check that and like be sure that it's the right thing that I'm talking about. But it's a retelling, and it's a fantasy romance about a woman who slayed Ravager, and she is kind of trapped in a cage because she has these, like, I think she's these very powerful magical abilities or something. I'm not exactly sure, but she ends up breaking out of this cage, and things happen from there. So we got all 3 books for that series. I think it'll be a good palate cleanser. I read a lot of dark romances, but it's always nice to grab some of those if you just want a romance but you don't want anything rom-com-y, if you know what I mean. The last book that I have for this haul is, okay, so I bought this book because I wanted the hardcover of it. I bought the paperback of it, but I'm gonna end up selling it, so there's that if you want it. And that is The Poppy War This is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This is a high fantasy inspired by Chinese mythology, which we are so stoked about, and I can't wait to read it. I think I already gave a synopsis of this, I'm not exactly sure, in another video, or maybe I didn't, I have no idea. This book is about a girl who disguises herself as a boy, I think, and it's kind of like Mulan inspired, so there's that. But she goes into battle, she is going to be a soldier, there's magic, there's mythology, there's just a lot going on in this, and I'm excited for it. So I am really pleased that I got the hardcover in this. I know that the second book is really hard to find in hardcover, but I'm going to try my best to find it somewhere, and I'm going to buy it. I don't care how much it is, I'm going to buy it. So that's everything for this haul. That's it for the video. I hope you guys liked it. I'm sorry that this like randomly cut off, but it is what it is. I'm gonna import this footage and get this video edited so you guys can go and see it. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.